Now, my friend, we arrive at a very interesting moment in this live stream on Bowls.tv. Hey, it's BOLES on television, coming to you live and in person from the East Coast of these United States. And it's really an issue of a matter of trust. Do you trust people you meet? Now, I have learned that by default, you need to trust people, because to, by default, not trust people means you're going to have a very miserable life because you are thinking that everyone is out there to take advantage of you and to rip you off. It's not a great way to live, and as an INTJ personality, I kind of have the gift of sort of being able to anticipate what's going to happen before it happens. And other people don't really have that curse/gift. So I know where this is going. I don't want to go there, so let's stop it. That gets you in trouble because it makes people angry because they say, what did I do to you? I said, well, you didn't do anything yet, but I know what you're going to do. I'm not going to do anything. And then when I moved to New York, my first manager said, look, I understand what you're doing, but you can't do that. I said, are you telling me I have to wait for people to F me over, to screw me over before I can take any action? And my manager said, yes, you do. I said, why do I have to wait? I know what's going to happen. This is not going anywhere. It's not going to work. This person's going to try to take my money or not come through or make a strange accusation to get out of a responsibility. And I don't like people like that, and I don't want to work with them. And my manager said, tough. You signed a contract. That's the agreement. You can't do anything until something is done to you. That's how you have a good reputation. That's how you keep your name. So I thought, okay, I guess I don't know anything. So I said, okay. And in the end, I was right. It all fell apart exactly as I knew it would. And my manager said, well, that's good. You weren't surprised. That's how life is. And I said, okay. So I do trust people by default. And what's really interesting is, as we were talking about before, Midjourney, version 5. Now, Midjourney costs you, like $20 a month for a certain amount of fast hours, which means the bot will return an image that's created for you almost immediately. And then there are relaxed hours that are sort of unlimited, but you're in a long line. Some of the images this morning that a lot of people are complaining about have been in queue waiting to be made for over 45 minutes. With fast, it's, 10 seconds. So it's the difference between waiting 10 seconds for an image and 45 minutes for an image. But it's not always that way. Usually relaxed can be as fast. But if you're in a hurry, or if it's Monday during the day and you got stuff to do, you're going to pay for fast. So what people have started to do, I have learned as a trusting person, is to say, hey, you post these images that you make with the AI bot. Do you think you could create one for me? Now, some of these people, I don't even know. One guy said, look, I'm doing a album, and I just got out of the studio, and I need an album cover. Can you design me a guy looking at a spaceship with rocks falling, and, goes on and on in description. And I said, well, what's your budget for this image? Because it costs me money and time to make an image. And there are people who write prompts for AI who get paid $250,000 a year to be able to do that, because not everyone can do it. And the guy writes back and says, oh, no, there's no budget. I said, well, you said you just got out of the studio. He said, yeah, well, that's where all my money went, was on the studio. I don't have any money for an AI image. This isn't costing you anything. Just type in the words and send me the image. So that person, I had to trust for, all of 20 seconds before I realized this person wasn't going to offer anything back to me of value and just wanted to take from me. So I said, yeah, I really don't have time for that. Thank you. And then there are other people who, you exchange conversation, get into debates with, for 2, 3, 4 weeks, a month or two. And I recently had a guy who I thought was sort of a friend of mine who said, hey, could you, make an image of Elon Musk is stuck on Mars with a spaceship leaving behind him, and make sure that that he's wearing a helmet, but that the visor is down, or the visor is up and the hood is down, but he wanted to be able to see his face, but to make sure that his face had a protective cover over it. Okay, so that takes a little bit of time to get Midjourney to render all that. And I didn't ask him, what's this for? Why do you want it? Because, we kind of talk about AI and things like that. And people make suggestions, could you make that a dog instead of a cat? And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Hey, what about this artist? Could that be interesting? Oh, yeah, I'll see what I can do. So I did all this work for a person I thought was my friend, a person that I trusted. And I sent him 4 images. I said, oh, that's great. I'm going to use the last one. They said, I hope it's okay with you. How should I credit you? So I said, well, you can, how do you credit me? You say image by David Bowles in Midjourney, or image prompted by David Bowles, something like that. So I made some joke. You know how to credit somebody. And he said, okay. And he said, and then later that day, he said, well, I hope it's okay with you. I hope you're not mad. So I thought, well, that's a weird thing to say. So I went to his profile and searched through his messages, and I found out that he was competing in some sort of AI image prompt story thing for money, trying to win $500. And at the very end, he wrote a thing, and at the very end is my image, and then in the thing that he wrote, he said, inspired by, and then it's some other person's name. And the inspired by, I don't know if he's talking about the person who's hosting the event. I don't know if inspired by is maybe he stole his written narrative from that person. But there was no credit in any way for me or Midjourney, no mention of where he got the image. So the default assumption by people who are not paying attention is that he created that image for himself. So that was weird and a breach of trust. And I think I said something like, oh, I saw your entry. Not what I expected. And then what can you do? You're online. You're not going to fight with somebody. You're not going to sue them. You just find out that they're a rotten person and they can't be trusted. And then you block them so you don't have to deal with them anymore. So that leads me into my next curiosity about these AI bots. Now, there are people who try to really create grotesque images, either violence or inappropriate sexual vulgarities. We're not talking about fun stuff. We're talking about people who are deranged. So Midjourney has, banned words, a banned word list, like blood is one of them, murder is one of them, barren is one, naked is one. Okay, you understand those. And I understand why they're there. They're to protect Midjourney from people creating really grotesque things. And so when you write a prompt, there's a quote that I like from Deirdre of the Stars, a hard and naked earth we'd had this night. And every time I try to get an image out of that, I get a ban prompt saying, you cannot use the word naked. So I changed it to hard and empty earth, hard and absent earth, abandoned earth. And it works out fine and gives me back a great image. But you forget that there are banned words. Now, I guess some people all day are stuck in banned word heck. Somebody said, if you want to use the word blood, you say red streaks instead. So it's kind of silly because people can get around these barriers. And then yesterday I was working on a very interesting sort of project with Midjourney 5, and you create the images in Discord. And I've never had a problem with Discord until last night and today. And it comes to these ideas of these images that are banned. Now, what I was doing yesterday was doing an interesting analysis that actually worked out of a supermodel from Brazil. Her name is Adriana Lima. You can look her up. She's been a model since she was a young child. She's been photographed probably every day of her life until now, when she's older and married and has a baby. Okay, so it's a whole arc of a life, which means to me, as an AI art bot user, that means there's probably a lot of data out there about her, visual data, that can be used to create AI images of that supermodel. And they're images that don't exist except in the AI world. It's a very interesting sort of theory. So what I thought would be interesting is just to use 4 images of her as a child, a teen, adolescent, and then as a woman, to show the progression that AI can do over the arc of a life. Does the young model look like the adult model? That's what we're going to find out. That's what we found out yesterday. And the answer is, wow, yeah. Now here's where it gets super interesting. Images began disappearing on my iPad and my iOS device. Images of the swimsuit model, Adriana Lima. And that was the prompt. Adriana Lima, swimsuit model, young swimsuit model, in the ocean, that kind of thing, right? So I'm doing these prompts on my big machine, my Windows machine, using the Discord app. And everything's rolling just like we were using fast hours, getting back great, fascinating results. And then I began to notice yesterday on my iPad that mysteriously all these swimsuit model images were gone. Because normally on all devices, if you're running Discord, all the images, everything is the same. It all syncs up, right? So I'm looking at that. So I'm scrolling through and I see my pop art, paper art cats. And Adriana was right after that. But the last image that I was seeing was the cats, not Adriana. She disappeared. So I picked up my iPhone, looked at it, same thing. What? So I go to Discord. I look at Discord. It's all there on my big computer. It's all there. Discord on my iPad, not there. Discord on my iPhone, no Adriana. So I'm thinking, this is very weird. The images are getting deleted somehow. So I go to the main midjourney.com website, pull up my account. All the images are there. So this is not Midjourney doing something weird. So I'm thinking, okay, something's going on. Something somewhere is getting deleted. So I did some internet searches, iOS, to get into the Apple Store, you can't have not safe for work images. I'm saying my images were not safe for work. They're a woman in a bathing suit on a beach. This is nothing sexual about it. The prompt has no sexuality in it at all. In a swimsuit, on the beach, in the ocean. Nothing there. No banned words from Midjourney, right? So I go back to the desktop, type in same prompt, but just doing it again. Shows up on iPad, shows up on iOS. Okay, fabulous. I guess it wasn't syncing up right, and I updated Discord on the iPad and the iPhone. And then I check 5 minutes later and they're gone again. I thought, now wait a minute. How can they just disappear? Something's getting deleted. So I go back. I do a little bit more research. I look around. Oh, you have to go in and make your Discord server safe, and you have to mark, the individual channels. You have to be over 18. I said, I've never had images disappear before, ever, on anything. So I went in and marked several of my AI bot places as, you have to be over 18 to view this, thinking maybe that would fix it. Did it again, Adriana, still on the desktop, not on iOS. I said, okay, is this an Apple thing? It's very bizarre. And if this were a horror movie, I would say I'm getting a little bit scared because things are disappearing that were there in 1 second and are suddenly not there. So I thought, well, maybe it's my Wick bot, which is very strict. It throws legitimate people off of my Discord server because it can. But I fixed that. So I go into Wick. I do a search, missing messages, not safe for work, nothing's there. I go into Discord, I go into the Midjourney, images disappearing from Discord, not there. So I think, well, this is very weird, but I've been saving all of my images, the ones that look really great, so I can make sure that I at least have them on my computer because they're disappearing off my iOS devices. So last night I turned everything off, come back in the morning, check my iPad, Adriana's gone. Check my iOS, iPhone, Adriana's gone. And then I look at my desktop, Windows machine, Discord. All of Adriana has been wiped out. And I thought to myself, now I know something weird is going on, and I have to figure it out. So I finally was able, for some reason, to do a search on Google for Discord images disappearing. And I thought I searched for that yesterday, and nothing really came up. And then I got a pop-up from a Reddit thread from 3 months ago. This is almost the same thing. Discord images disappearing. I go right to Reddit. I start reading. I found my answer. It appears, dear friend, that Discord has a ban list of their own, but it's a shadow ban list. Now, this is called also stealth banning, ghost banning, comment ghosting. So when you use a banned word with Midjourney gives you an error message saying, hey, don't use that word, come up with another one, try again. And if you keep using that banned word, we're going to suspend you. Never happened to me. But every once in a while you get a strange banned word. So I thought, but what could be banned? So I'm going on reading this Reddit thing, and people are making the same thing. And it appears that one person said that Discord has a silent ban where they remove your image because they think you're violating their terms of service. And one of the banned words that they shadow ban you on, pretending that you never said it, and say delete your message, is bikini. Another person said skin is also banned. So I'm thinking, swimsuit is probably banned. Model maybe is banned. You can't know because there's nowhere to check it out, because you ask Discord, do you shadow ban images or people or they won't tell you because they want this to be a secret. So this is where it gets really curious. So the people in the Reddit thread, thank goodness I found them, said, so what you do is you go to your Midjourney account, which I did, and your images are still there, and they are. So what you do is you get the post ID, you copy it, then you go back into Discord. You use the show command, put in the post ID that you got from the web, hit enter, and then the magical image will reappear and stay. So I thought, and people were very upset, and obviously they were doing it 3 months ago, and they're doing it again now. Obviously, I do a lot of cats. I don't do a lot of swimsuit stuff on the beach, but I got bitten by that. And so I thought, okay, that's interesting. So let me see if I can just, write a few prompts that I am pretty sure will give more provocative results than what I was doing. Adriana Lima, the swimsuit on the beach. So I just put in all morning, Adriana Lima on the beach. I didn't say model, didn't say swimsuit. Adriana Lima in the ocean. Not swimsuit model, supermodel, none of that. Just her name and a place. And of course, Midjourney, the AI bot, returns magnificently beautiful images of a scantily clad, imaginary, AI-created Adriana Lima in bikinis. And sometimes with no bikini on, which is like every once in a while you get those. You get a topless picture. Men are okay, women, people have a problem with. So I thought, isn't that fascinating that I can create more provocative images by going around the Discord shadow ghost ban for certain words and get an even better intentional result that so far has not yet been deleted by Discord. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to, because I started that process at 5 a.m. and they're still there. So this is a very interesting world in which we live, where machines try to tell us how to think and how to behave. And it's our job to see if we can get the same result we want without being grotesque or vulgar or insulting. But it is grotesque, vulgar, and insulting to be accused of something, shadow banned, that you are not doing at all, but that some bot somewhere thinks you're trying to get away with something that is inappropriately provocative. So these are things you should be aware of. These are things you should try on, try out, have fun with, and try not to let the AI bot ban hold you down.